The kids are not all right.
Inflation, I think there's a small risk, and I think it's manageable. I don't anticipate that inflation is going to be a problem, but it is something that we're watching very carefully.
Hi, and welcome as we look back at the housing numbers for March, provided by the Las Vegas Realtors in this April market report, and answer the question that everyone wants to know. Has the Federal Reserve tamed inflation by crushing your home's value? All right, guys, so before we get into it, if you don't know who I am, I'm Ken Blumberg, your all-American realtor. And before we jump into the numbers, I think we can agree that nothing is normal right now and has not been since the world was shut down in March of 2020. And the rule of law was locked down along with you and your family and the rest of the world. Where we took, which looks now like a perfectly good functioning economy, and we shattered it into a million pieces. Like throwing a Monopoly board against the wall mid-game and expecting that it was going to land in perfect order when it hit the ground, which we know is utterly impossible. Suspending mortgage payments and allowing people not to pay rent, destroying mom and pop landlords and business owners in the name of their protection. And the people that we've entrusted to protect us printed $9 trillion and handed that money out to banks and corporations. And of course, they gave you $1,400. They then came out and said inflation was transitory. And then because they are so detached from the average American's needs, they came out and said incoherently that inflation had only gone up an inch, whatever that means.
Mr. President, as you know, last Tuesday, the annual inflation rate came in at 8.3%.
Well, first of all, let's put this in perspective. Inflation rate month to month was just an inch.
And now as Americans are suffering, they're telling you that we're going to have a soft landing and that everything is under control. No recession, nothing to see here. And that's mostly true, at least for the people that bought before 2020 and all the mass acceleration of money printing happened while everyone else got left behind. Now, while cryptocurrency prices, stock market prices, lumber prices have all come down significantly, while food, energy, gasoline, and all the things that we need to live have skyrocketed at the fastest rate in 40 years. So far, home prices have remained somewhat stable over the last 8 to 10 months. But this all reminds me of a conversation I had about 15 years ago with somebody that was saying, I've heard the national debt is out of control for so many years and nothing seems to happen. Well, guess what, folks? Something is happening. And if you think a person or a nation can go ahead and put all their bills on a credit card indefinitely and nothing is going to happen, let me show you what the result is. So the first set of numbers we're going to go into is the median home price. But we're going to start in 2016, where the median single-family home price was $220,000. Then in 2017, the median home price was $242,000. Then in 2018, the median home price accelerated to $280,000. Then in March of 2019, median home prices hit $300,000. As the Federal Reserve was starting to raise interest rates, at that time, home prices started to stall and actually were decreasing. So in turn, the Federal Reserve decided that couldn't happen. So they brought interest rates down at a rapid rate, which of course fueled home price inflation. Then in March 2020, when the median sales price was $319,000, and our leaders told us that we were having a catastrophic event, which turns out mostly only affected old people and people that had underlying conditions. And typically, in my opinion, that's who's going to be affected always. And at that point, they put us into lockdown and hit the money printer. And then home prices continue to accelerate, increasing our national debt. And then in March 2021, a year into the lockdowns, home prices went up to $363,000. Then capping out in 2022 at a median home price in Las Vegas at $460,000. Which brings us to today, where median home prices are sitting at $425,000, exactly where they were at the end of last year. So this means as the government prints more money, spends more money, and takes your money and sends your money to Ukraine and corporations and banks that are too big to fail, you, not them, are going to pay higher prices for food, energy, gas, and all the things that you need to live. Until most Americans have a very low quality of life, while others fly on their private jets and have lavish lifestyles that you could never imagine. As the saying goes, have yachts and have nots. So I don't know about you, but I love America, I love my family and friends, and I definitely want the best for them. So I think we need to stop listening to people who obviously we can't trust, because they consistently say one thing and do another. Just like calling their most recent bill the Inflation Reduction Act that does anything but reduce inflation. And I know we need to come together and look to one another for answers, because I know you have the same goals, concerns, and dreams that I do. Okay, so all that being said, let's look at the rest of the numbers from the March market report and see exactly where we are right now in Las Vegas. So the availability excluding offers, right now we're sitting at 4,195 homes that are on the market with no offers. That's down 10.1% from the prior month and up 109.3% from the year prior. Next, we have a very important statistic, which is the effective months of availability, where we're sitting at 1.8 months of supply. Now that's down 34.4% from the month prior and up 190% from the year prior. Now that's still very safely in a seller's market territory, but of course we're going to keep a very close eye on that number. Next, we had 2,361 homes that closed in March. That's up 37.1% from the month prior, which is great. Some of these numbers are up from some of the lowest sales volume that we have seen since the great financial recession. However, the number of closings is still down year over year by 27.8%. And then lastly, we had 2,565 new homes come to market last month, which is actually very low for March. And it's more in line with what we've typically seen over the past 5 years in November and December. However, it's still up 14.4% from the month prior, but down 27.3% from the year prior. Okay, to wrap it up for now, it looks like Las Vegas has returned to some kind of normality, and Americans and Las Vegans are holding on to their homes, with the exception of California and other states like it, which is no doubtably helping us with our price stability here in Las Vegas. As we all face higher prices and the devaluation of our dollar, I personally still believe in the American dream of home ownership. It's a sovereignty that's worth fighting for, especially as so many of our liberties slowly and now at a much more quickening pace have been eroded. All the while our national wealth has been taken for granted and spent frivolously. Unlike the US dollar, your home, your family, and God will always have significant value and should never be taken for granted. So thank you for watching. I'm Ken Blumberg, your All-American Realtor. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And God bless you. I'll see you on the next video.